Okay, so you guys are not going to believe what happened to me yesterday. I was trying out this new VR thing, the one where you can like travel to different places. So I put on the headset and suddenly, bam, I'm in Paris. It was so cool. I could see the Eiffel Tower and everything. But get this, I got so caught up in like looking around that I tripped over my own 2 feet. And I almost fell flat on my face. It felt so real. It's crazy how technology can do that these days.
It really is amazing. What's fascinating here is how VR can trick our brains into thinking we're actually somewhere else. It plays with our senses, right? What we see, what we hear, and creates this whole experience. And the tech is getting better all the time. So who knows how real it will feel in a few years.
I know, right? You got me thinking, what if someday we all just travel using VR? Like, forget planes and airports. Just pop on a headset and you're in Italy. But then again, something tells me it wouldn't be quite the same.
That's a great point. VR is incredible for giving us a glimpse of a place, but it can't capture everything. Think about it. When you travel for real, you're not just seeing things, you're smelling the food, you're feeling the sun on your skin, maybe even getting caught in a sudden rainstorm. It's all those little details that make a trip memorable.
Totally. I remember this one time I was in Thailand and I was walking through this night market. It was so crowded and lively. And the smells of all the street food were incredible. It was an experience I'll never forget. And I don't think a VR headset could ever replicate that.
Exactly. There's a certain magic to being physically present in a place, experiencing it with all your senses. It's about the unexpected encounters, the chance conversations, even the little mishaps that happen along the way. Those are the things that make real travel so special.
Okay. I'm convinced VR can't replace real travel, but I can see it being a cool alternative, especially for people who maybe can't travel as easily. Like, what if you're not able to fly or if traveling is too expensive? VR could open up a whole world of possibilities for those folks.
Absolutely. And for people who are curious about a destination, but not sure if they want to commit to a whole trip, VR can be a great way to get a taste of it beforehand. Sort of like a try before you buy kind of thing.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So for those of us who are ready to give VR travel a shot, any tips on making the experience as awesome as possible? I mean, besides not tripping over my own feet.
For starters, sound is super important. Invest in a good pair of headphones. That way you can really feel like you're in the environment.
Makes sense. It's like watching a movie with surround sound, just pulls you in.
Exactly. Also, find a quiet space where you can really focus. You want to be able to block out distractions and just get lost in the experience.
And maybe clear a path so you don't run into anything. Seriously, though, what about the visuals? Are there certain types of VR videos or apps that are better than others?
Definitely. Look for 360-degree videos or dedicated VR travel apps. These are specifically designed to make you feel like you're actually there.
So you're telling me I could be chilling on my couch 1 minute
Yeah.
and then exploring the streets of Tokyo or hiking through the Amazon rainforest the next, all without leaving my house.
That's the power of VR. It opens up a whole new dimension of travel right at your fingertips.
Okay. I have to admit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it also brings up some interesting questions. Like, what does this mean for the future of travel? Will we all be ditching planes for VR headsets? Or is there a way for both types of travel to exist side by side?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think both real and virtual travel have their own special something to offer. It's not about replacing one with the other. It's more like expanding our options.
I like that, expanding our options, so it's less about competition and more about finding ways for both to thrive.
Exactly. Real travel is about soaking up the whole experience. It's about unexpected detours, spontaneous conversations with locals, even those lost in translation moments that make you laugh. You're building memories you can't get any other way.
You're right, it's those unexpected moments that often become the best stories. Like that time I missed my train in Italy and ended up exploring this charming little village I never would have seen, otherwise pure magic.
See, those are the stories you can't download. And let's be honest, part of the fun of traveling is trying all the delicious food. VR can show you a picture of a croissant, but it can't let you taste that buttery, flaky goodness.
Okay, you've convinced me nothing beats biting into a real croissant in a Parisian cafe, but I see VR being a great way to explore places you might not be able to visit easily. Like, Imagine experiencing the Northern Lights in Iceland, or hiking the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, all from your living room.
Precisely. VR can make these bucket list destinations accessible to people who might face physical limitations, financial constraints, or even time restrictions. It's a way to break down barriers and let everyone explore the world.
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
It's like democratizing travel, making it possible for anyone to experience the wonders of the world regardless of their circumstances.
Exactly. And think about the environmental benefits as we become more aware of our carbon footprint. VR travel could offer a more sustainable way to satisfy our wanderlust. We can explore the world without contributing to the negative impacts of long haul flights.
Wow, I hadn't even thought about that. It's like getting the travel fix without the environmental guilt trip.
Yeah.
So VR travel is looking pretty good so far. But are there any downsides we should be aware of?
Well, like any new technology, there are potential challenges. One concern is the possibility of VR becoming too isolating. If we spend all our time in virtual worlds, will we lose the desire to connect with real people and places?
That's a good point. There's something special about face-to-face interactions, about sharing experiences with others in real time. It's about human connection, something that VR might struggle to replicate fully.
Exactly. And then there's a question of authenticity. VR can recreate places, but can it truly capture the spirit of a culture, the nuances of daily life, the energy of a bustling marketplace?
I see what you mean. It's like the difference between looking at a photo of a painting and standing in front of the real thing. You might get the general idea, but you're missing the texture, the brushstrokes, the emotions it evokes when you're actually there.
Precisely. VR can be a fantastic tool for exploration and education, but it's important to remember that it's still a simulation. It's a filtered version of reality created by algorithms and data.
So it's important to approach VR travel with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly. Appreciate it for what it is, a window into another world, but don't mistake it for the real thing.
Okay, so VR travel has its pros and cons, just like anything else. But ultimately, it seems like the future of travel will be a blend of both real and virtual experiences.
I agree. Maybe we'll use VR to scout out destinations, plan our trips, and then head out into the world to experience those places firsthand, armed with a deeper understanding and appreciation.
I love that idea. It's like having the best of both worlds. And hey, even if VR never fully replaces real travel, at least they can help us skip those long airport security lines.
You got that right. And who knows, maybe someday we'll be telling our grandkids stories about our virtual adventures alongside our real life travels.
That's a future I can get behind. So it looks like VR travel is here to stay, and it's going to be exciting to see how it shapes the way we experience the world. But for now, I think I'm ready to ditch this headset and grab a real cup of coffee. No more virtual spills for me.
So, where does all this leave us? Are we all going to be living in these virtual worlds and trading our passports for VR headsets?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. VR is becoming more and more accessible and affordable all the time. But will it completely replace real travel? I don't think so. There's a certain magic to physically being in a new place, experiencing the culture firsthand.
Yeah.
You creating those real life memories.
Yeah, I get that there's something about feeling the cobblestones under your feet and getting lost in a maze of narrow streets, stumbling upon a hidden cafe. Those are the moments that make travel so special. Exactly. And let's be honest, half the fun of traveling is coming back with stories to tell. Oh, you went to Rome in VR. That's cool. I actually tossed a coin in the Trevi Fountain for real.
Okay, Gabby. There's definitely a bragging rights element to real travel, but I think there's room for both in our lives.
Hmm.
Maybe we'll use VR to get a taste of a destination before we go, or to revisit our favorite places when we can't physically travel.
I think that's a great way to look at it. VR can enhance our real world travel experiences, and it can also open up new possibilities for people who might not be able to travel conventionally.
And let's not forget, VR can help us be more mindful travelers.
Mm.
We can use it to learn about different cultures and customs and languages before we go, so we can be more respectful and responsible visitors.
Absolutely. VR can be a powerful tool for promoting cultural understanding and empathy. It allows us to step into someone else's shoes and experience the world from a different perspective.
So maybe the future of travel isn't about choosing between real and virtual, but about finding ways to blend them together, creating a richer and more meaningful travel experience.
I think you're right. The most important thing is to keep that spirit of adventure and curiosity alive, whether we're exploring the world through a VR headset or with our own 2 feet on the ground.
Well said. And a, at the very least, VR travel eliminates the need for packing right. No more lost luggage or overweight baggage fees.
Now, that's a perk I can definitely get behind.
All right, folks. That's our deep dive into the world of VR travel. We hope you enjoyed the journey. Remember, whether you're exploring a bustling city through a VR headset or planning your next real-life adventure, the most important thing is to stay curious and keep exploring.
And don't forget to subscribe and like this deep dive for more fascinating conversations. Until next time, happy travels, real or virtual.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.